Hello everybody and welcome to Kenshi. For those of you joining me for the first time ever, my name is Sabouts, and if you're returning to my channel for another series, I'd like to welcome you back. And Kenshi is an open world RPG game that I very much enjoy playing on the channel. It allows for a lot of different customization options where you can set up unique challenges or scenarios that you've got to accomplish. And it's one of my favorite things to do. So a lot of you probably watching this video already have a pretty good idea of what it's going to be about, because it is in the title of the video. So we're going to be doing a Fogman only challenge, meaning that I can only play with characters of the Fogman race. The goal of this challenge is actually going to be a couple different goals, but the main goal to accomplish is going to be going to war with the Hive. So essentially, I'm going to be playing as a group of Fogmen who have started to mutate and evolve and gain a little bit of intelligence in the world of Kenshi. We're going to be able to build structures, we're going to be able to use better weapons and equipment, and most importantly, we're going to have a burning hatred for our brothers, the Hive. Now, we've got to destroy most of the Hive settlements. That's going to be the plan. We're going to need to destroy them, and I'll explain why as we get into the game. But most importantly, the final goal of our playthrough and to obtain victory for the Fogmen is going to be to capture the Southern Hive Queen and hold on to her for a specified length of days. I'm thinking somewhere around the 15-day time frame, but I'll kind of play with the number here. I'm not going to be super rigid with the rules in terms of something like that. Obviously, I've never actually captured the Southern Hive Queen, so I have no idea how it's going to play out for us. But the goal will be to capture her, hold her for a certain amount of time, and then eventually kill her, which should anger the Hive and cause them to attack our base. So the start here is going to be the Prince Fogman start. Now I should start off right now by saying that I'm playing with a lot of different mods in the game. So if you're interested in what mods that I'm using, you can go down below in the description of the video and find a list of all of the mods that I'm going to be using for this particular playthrough. I do want to warn you guys right now that I myself have altered a lot of the game files. I've done some of my own modding, and so you may not be able to completely recreate what I'm going to be doing here for the series. I'll explain some of the changes that I've made as we jump in, but understand and know that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing when I modded the files. Kenshi is a very easily moddable game, but I'm certainly no professional at it, so I literally just played with certain numbers till I got the results I wanted, and then I ran with it. So if you're waiting for me to publish my changes on the workshop, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I literally have no idea what I've changed or what I even went about doing. Some of the mods that I downloaded to use for this playthrough, I even altered those mods folders, so it's just a big mess. But that's what I needed to do to be able to create the start that I wanted. So our Hive here, also known as our Fogmen, we're going to be doing a Dead Hive Prince, and it's going to be me, Sabouts. I'm going to alter just a few things here. I'd like to change my height and just change things like my leg length and my arms if I can. Maybe arm length so I don't look so weird. Leg, arm bulk. Actually, give me a little bit thicker arms. Nice. So that'll be our starting character. I'm pretty good with that. The Fogmen here are modeled after the Hive. So just like typical Hive, they have things like very low hit points. Losing limbs is extremely easy. And all of, for this particular prince here, we get some bonuses to dexterity, athletics, stealth, farming, thievery, laboring, attack, engineering, but we have a minus 20% in strength. So we're not that tough. Now jumping into the game here, I'm going to go ahead and pause the game right now. I just want to do a quick explaining of how this is going to play out before we actually jump in and start accomplishing some of the early game goals that I have to get done. So how this is going to work here is the way that I can recruit other Fogmen is I can have a dialogue with them to recruit them. Now, Not all Fogmen in the world of Kenshi have evolved to become a more intelligent creature. A lot of them are still very barbaric. And so there's only about a 2% chance out of every group of Fogmen that one of them is recruitable. The regular Fogmen will be the most easiest and the most common for me to recruit. Fogmen heavies, which are a little bit more beefier Fogmen, kind of like Fogmen's soldiers, they are even harder to find and recruit. And then the Fogmen prince are nearly impossible. If I can find another Fogmen prince to recruit, that would be amazing. However, the Fogmen are not a very strong race. The basic Fogmen are fairly weak with stats only in the ranges of the 5s. The Fogmen heavies are only around the 10 to 15, and the princes, being one of the best ones in the game, are only around the 30s. It'd be great if I could find a Fogmen prince. Highly unlikely for me to do that. So I am going to be getting some of you guys into the game here, and I want to take a second to offer up the suggestion that if you would like to be in this playthrough, if you'd like to be in this beautiful disaster of a playthrough, you can go ahead down below in the comment section right now and submit a name. I will be gathering up a list of names just like I've done in previous Kenshi playthroughs. I'm going to put a whole list together. I'm going to go in order, first come, first serve. So the faster you get your name in here, the more likely you'll be able to be a character in the game. I want to get as many names as possible, so please don't hold back. Even if you didn't make it in any of my previous series with Kenshi, I'm going to do my best to try to get you guys all in here. I'm very faithful about it. Anybody that's watched my previous ones know that I take it very seriously, trying to name everybody in the game after different viewers and such. So it's important to me. But yeah, I want to get you guys in here. I'm probably going to have a very high turnover rate. The Fogmen are extremely weak. They die very quickly. So there's a large possibility that a lot of you are going to die. And so I'll be able to probably get most of you that submit names into the game pretty easily. Now here's how we start off. Currently in the middle of the Fog Islands, we're actually pretty close to Mongrel. And in this area we've spawned in, there's a chance for some different things to spawn that I've actually pretty much had happen here. So we have a chance for, and it hasn't spawned in yet, so we'll see what actually spawns because the game hasn't fully loaded. So we have a chance for a bone dog area, like nesting area, to spawn in right on top of us, which would be really bad. We have a chance for a hive encampment to start here, where there might be some recruitable, or I'm sorry, not hive, Fogmen encampment here, where there might be some recruitable Fogmen. And we have a chance for maybe a prince and some heavies to spawn here, where we might have a recruitable prince or a heavy, which I highly doubt it, but it's possible. So we're going to go ahead and unpause. I'm going to immediately move away from the area, because if it's the bone dogs, I don't want to get completely, just obliterated in the first few seconds of the game. There's also a chance that nothing spawns here, which I've had happen before too. I have done about 25, I'm not kidding you, 25 test runs to make sure everything works, because I've been altering so many things in the game that I've had like just random crashes, or like the hivemen aren't working, or they have the wrong stats, yada yada yada. I've had all sorts of crazy stuff happen. So after about 25 different test games and about ready to rip my hair out from having to try and test everything to see if it's working or not, I finally managed to get it all working and ready to show it off. So it looks like we got really unlucky. I literally had nothing spawn here. And that sucks. Alright, well, no matter. We'll have to find some stuff on the way. Let's take a look at our character. Currently, we start with nothing in terms of armor. However, we do get a really nice ninja blade, actually, so that's not too bad. And it is a model Edge Type 1, which is awesome, because that has a chance to spawn as something else, but it looks like for me it spawned in the best case scenario that I could have had it spawned in. So that's at least a bonus to not having any Fogmen spawn here, for us to be able to recruit off in the early beginning. Now, as for stats, let's take a look and see what we got here. These are all random, so it could be anything, but I try to keep them pretty low. I still want to have some decent starting stats as opposed to just having all ones, because this is already going to be difficult enough as it is, and you'll see as we start playing through how tough it can actually get. But we've actually got 13 strength here, 8 toughness, 10 dexterity, and 2 perception. That's not too bad. Katanas, since we started with one, this is going to be the most important for us. And we've got a katana of weapon skill of 11, melee attack of 10, defense 6, dodge 3. I'm pretty happy with those. The things that are really important to me actually are the athletics and the science with the field medic. So we've got a field medic of 12, which I'm pretty happy with. My test runs, I constantly was getting negative, so this makes me pretty happy. And I'm okay with the athletics. The thievery and the stealth kind of bums me out a bit, but I guess it's not going to matter too much because we won't be doing a whole lot of thievery this playthrough, if hardly any at all. So I guess it's the stealth that kind of bums me out the most, but we can build that up pretty quickly. Just a little bit of grinding, but it won't be an issue. Now, the reason that I mentioned the thievery is because if you take a look at our faction screen, everybody in the game hates us. And that makes sense. We're filthy, disgusting Fogmen. So this creates a unique set of challenges that's going to make this playthrough, I feel, very interesting for you guys, the viewers, but also interesting for me to try to overcome the challenges. So basically having a negative 100 faction with all of these people means that I'm not going to be able to do any trading. I'm not going to be able to go into towns and do anything. I'm not going to be able to acquire cats easily, to acquire gear, to buy food, medical supplies. It's going to be extremely difficult buying any type of building supplies. So everything that we use in this game, in this particular playthrough, is going to have to be acquired by either scavenging, looting, thieving, pillaging, etc., killing people, stealing their gear. That's going to be really the only way that we can get it. So we're going to be targeting things like ruins. We're going to be targeting smaller outposts or weaker group of units where we can take their gear. Now, the reason that I mentioned that thievery won't be as prominent in this playthrough is because I'm not even going to be able to make it through the front gates of any of these places to do any thievery. The only way I'm going to be able to thieve is if I basically manage to break into small areas like Holy Nation outposts or farms, or if I try to thieve something off of somebody, I guess. Thievery is really not going to be that pertinent. It's going to be a lot of just scavenging and looting to try and survive. So it's going to make things interesting. A lot of the gear that we're going to need for our characters are going to have to be built probably by us, which means there's going to be a very high level of base building in this playthrough so that we can do a couple things like manufacture food and weapons and armor. The one thing that I did change, other than giving everybody negative 100, is I did put us at 0 with the skeletons. This allows us to enter Black Desert City, but it's not going to be too big of a deal, and it really doesn't alter the playthrough all that much because the skeletons of Black Desert City really don't have anything worth. I mean, they've got stuff worth buying and trading, but it's not like a regular town that's got things like beds to sleep in, medical supplies, food. The only thing you're really going to find in Black Desert City is limbs, which are really expensive. You're going to find skeleton repair kits, which does us no good. And you're going to find the scrapyard, which has really good weapons that are very expensive. And tons of really powerful skeletons that would absolutely slice and dice my Fogmen. Now you might be wondering, Sabouts, why did you have the skeletons set to 0 instead of negative 100 with everything else? And the reason I did that is because the way I recruit Fogmen, I can't alter their names, and so to alter their names, I need to capture a surgeon and hold him in a cage in our base so that he can change your guys' names. But he requires 200 cats to do that. I have to have some way to be able to get cats, so this allows me, this is the most like role-playing friendly faction that works out for us, so we'll be able to at least sell stuff to the skeletons. You know, we could just pretend that the Fogmen and the skeletons have kind of a mutual thing going on. Since the skeletons, you know, the Fogmen don't eat their limbs because the skeletons are all robots. So it makes the most sense in a role-playing style. All right, let's head out. I've done enough talking. I apologize. I know you guys are probably like, holy crap, shut up. But I wanted to explain everything so that way there was no confusion about the mechanics of the game, the mods, or the way the game is being played, and the challenge that's set forth ahead of us. Well, as we roll out into the world. So now we can finally get started, and I can shut my mouth. All right. So yeah, the skeleton's there just allowing us to be able to do a little bit of trading, but there's not a whole lot there. And we're definitely not going to be thieving Black Desert City anytime soon. So that's our only hope. And it's fairly far away, Black Desert City being all the way down here in the Deadlands. I can only recruit, I know I mentioned it before, but I just want to make it very clear that I can only recruit Fogmen too, so there won't be any skeletons recruited in this playthrough, just Fogmen. Speaking of Fogmen, I haven't even seen... Oh, right there's a roaming group of Fogmen. Alright, so the most important thing right now is to try and recruit at least one Fogman to join us. The reason for that being that if something happens to me, which is very typical, I've noticed in my test runs that people die very quickly. I'll hopefully have a second Fogman to continue the playthrough and it doesn't end too early. So we got to see. We've got one recruited here. Now, there might be 1, 2, or 3 in this group that are recruitable. Like I said, there's about a 2% chance that there's that a Fogman can be recruitable. But the issue, I shouldn't say issue. The way I've set it up is once I recruit a Fogman from this group, all the other ones that want to be recruited as well, like this guy, that guy there, I can't recruit them all at once. I can only get one out of a group. So there's a 2% chance for one in a group to be recruitable, and then the rest of them aren't recruitable after I recruit one out of the group that are. So that just makes it so that way I can't, recruit 30 Fogmen out of one group, and then, it's just a little bit more challenging. We're going to pick up a Fogman here, and that's all you got to do is talk to them to recruit, and then you pick them up. So they are free. There's nothing aside from talking to them. But that's where the 2%. Now you can see that the ones that were recruitable before, it's turned off, so they don't. They have no interest in joining me for whatever reason. Use your imagination. But yeah, so now we've got a Fogman with us. Like I said, he can't be named, so he is going to remain as Fogman until I can capture a surgeon and have him renamed. So capturing a surgeon will be pretty high on our list. But let's actually talk a little bit about what is a priority for us while we're trying to navigate ourselves here out of the fog. Because I don't want to stay in the fog, even though it probably is the safest place for us. So things on our list, it's going to be acquiring food. The Fogmen do need to eat. We can eat raw meat, foul meat, stuff like that. So we've got to get out there and we've got to find food. We can eat other stuff as well. But any type of food, raw meat would be probably the easiest for us to acquire in the early game. As Fogmen, we also need medkits. That's the one thing we're seriously hurting for is medkits. If anybody here gets injured, there's a high probability that they're going to die very quickly. We just don't have the health to sustain a whole lot of injuries. If we get so much as like one sword chop to the chest, you're pretty much going into critical state and dying. And if there's not a med kit, you're out of luck. We cannot purchase med kits. We cannot find anything on the ground to sell to use to buy med kits. We can't even enter a town to get to a bed. So the only way we're going to find med kits is if we somehow find people who are downed. This is going to require us to rely very heavily on the environment. So this is why I'm heading out of the fog area. Because frankly, I'm probably just not going to find anything in this area that's worth picking up. The only thing that's going to be roaming around here is other fog people. Well, it will be nice to recruit other Fogmen. I don't want to recruit a bunch of Fogmen that I can't feed. So there lies the sort of issue that we've got going on. Now I'm going to head up this way. I'm going to start increasing the game speed a little bit so we can keep moving along. I do have a direction that I'm going. Actually trying to head up north this way. There is a massive Fogmen sort of village up this way. And it allows for a couple of things. Sometimes there's a chance for gear to spawn there. Sometimes there's a chance for me to have some really good Fogmen recruits, like Fogmen Heavies or even a Fogmen Prince, which I've only had happen in one of my test runs. So I doubt I'll get lucky. That was probably my last chance to find one. But it also allows us to hang out with a group of Fogmen and hopefully follow them around till they find some hungry bandits or something to beat up on. And we can potentially get some medkits or even some weapons or armor. Nobody in that group is recruitable, which is fine. I probably wouldn't pick them up anyways. I find in the early game of doing the Fogman start, it's best to not go over 3 to 4 people. The simple reason for that being that unless you find a lot of food, you're not going to have any way to feed them. There is a possibility to find lots of food. I've had rare instances where groups of bone dogs have wandered into a group of Fogmen, and we've managed to acquire a lot of food from that, so I'm hoping we can get lucky and have the same exact thing happen. The reason I'm coming up here real quickly is I want to show you guys something. This right here is a holy mine that is in this area right outside the Foglands. It's actually not that heavily guarded. It's got a decent amount of slaves and one slaver who's just hanging out outside. Now, I do believe that there's probably a chance for some holy servants and maybe a holy paladin somewhere in one of these buildings. But this here would be an excellent location to attack first. We're not going to attack it now, so calm down if you're getting too excited here. No intentions of attacking it now, but it's something I just want to put on my radar right now because it would be a great place to probably get some early gear. I believe that slaver, yes, he's wearing a backpack. And that would be nice. Be able to acquire a backpack. Anything. Any type of armor, weapons, heck, clothing. It doesn't matter. We can't get any of this stuff without fighting anybody. So it's going to be important that we take everything into consideration. All right, we're heading north to try and find... yes, right there. The ruined holy outpost. That's what we're looking for. So we want to head this way and just keep an eye out for any type of groups such as this. Got a group of hungry bandits. We are in no position right now to be fighting any type of groups of hungry bandits. Anything like that would just totally destroy us this early on. I don't see any nearby groups of Fogmen to drag them into, so let's not take the risk and just head around this way. We've got to be getting close here. The ruined holy outpost. It's actually right there. Perfect. So these guys actually might head right into the outpost. You can see there's a lot of Fogmen walking around. This is good. This ruined holy outpost is going to be our best friend for the next couple episodes. Unfortunately, we just don't have the strength or the ability to leave it too far and venture out. You can see already lots of hungry bandits running into groups of Fogmen. This is where this outpost is going to shine for us. It gives us the ability to do a couple things. Pick up gear, fight hungry bandits and raise our skills and train our Fogmen up. And it gives us the protection of inside the actual compound. Let's head in. Okay, and the Holy Nation, or I'm sorry, the Fogmen will pick up these guys and bring them inside to have their limbs consumed, as is Fogman tradition, which is great for us because they basically are going to deliver these people gear like right to us. Now, we're going to want to pick up one more Fogman to help us out. If we get some food, we'll want to pick up another one. This here is the Fogman Prince that always spawns inside of the settlement. He's the main Fogman Prince for inside here. Unfortunately, he's not recruitable. In one test game, he was recruitable for me, and it was like the best thing ever. But I knew it was going to be too good to be true for it to happen on camera. So, he's definitely not recruitable. I would like to find a Fogman Heavy that is recruitable, and it looks like we have one out here. So this Fogman Heavy is recruitable. You can see he's already got significantly better stats. They're not great. They're not astoundingly great stats, but they're certainly better than a standard Fogman. So let's actually grab me up. Also, no weapons or ammo, or I'm sorry, no weapons or armor or anything inside of here, which is also very unfortunate. All right, let's find this Fogman Heavy here and recruit him. That'll give us our 3 people I want. After that, we won't recruit anybody else until we're at a position where I'm comfortable with it. This Fogman Heavy is getting the crap beat out of him by a hungry bandit. We don't have any med kits to heal him, so I kind of would like a Fogman Heavy that is not fighting. But it looks like he's the only one that's recruitable. So he's bleeding. All right, let's because once I recruit him, I can't recruit anybody else in the area. So I'm half tempted to let him go. Maybe. This one here. He's just slightly injured. All right, there we go. We got him. So let's pull him out of the way before he gets any more injured. He does have a hungry bandit with him that he had picked up before he recruited him. So let's just go drop this guy off at this pole here, where he will probably be consumed. Like this over here. Oh, there's 2 Fogmen princes. Is this one recruitable by any chance? No. All right. So let's take a look at our Fog Heavy here. Pretty good all-around stats. Great dexterity, actually. Good athletics. Nothing in terms of... You got a little bit of thievery, but nothing else really in terms of that. You can see the standard Fogman here for his stats. Very, very basic. Nothing too impressive. The Fogman Heavy, though, does start with a blunt weapon bone hammer, bone bundle, and bone armor, which is better than nothing. I'm actually going to go ahead and trade those things off to us. I know it's not perfectly ideal to take it off of the Fog Heavy, but I would like to keep myself alive. I think that's pretty important, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But he can go in here and grab these. A little bit of cut resistance and such, not to mention some coverage, so not too bad. That's actually standard grade, which is not bad at all. The Fogman here, we'll have him come inside and just grab some stuff off of this guy that's being eaten alive, since he tends to have some halfway decent gear. And no point in keeping the Femur Club, because it is significantly worse than this Iron Club here. As for the Fog Heavy, how is his club? It's okay. Compared to something like this, though, it's not as good. This actually has more blunt damage, though. And this has a attack and defense bonus, so you know I'll keep what he has for now. There's gonna be more fighting going on out here. What do we got? A couple Fogmen going down, some more hungry bandits. The next thing we're gonna need a lot of gonna be med kits. We're not gonna find any med kits on the hungry bandits unless we find the leader, which I don't think I saw him anywhere. Got an escaped servant there. More hungry bandits. Did any of them make it inside? I can come and loot these guys real quick just to see what they've got on them. There could always be the potential for something decent. The Fog Heavy might be better off taking this, maybe? Yeah, it's got a little bit more cut resistance, I think. Oh, no, it's actually the same, just a different color. If we got a standard grade, that would make more sense. Alright. So nothing there. Yeah, like I said, the only way we're going to get a med kit is if we find the leader of the Hungry Bandits. He usually always has at least one med kit on him. But, have not seen him at all. Oh, that guy's got a bow, though. And they're fighting a Fog Heavy. And he's fighting a Fog Heavy as well. So we should head out here and get a little bit of training. Depending on how this looks, it doesn't look like it's something I want to jump into right now. So hold on a second. Those Fog Heavies are going down so we can get some armor from them. Holy crap, that is a human mercenary group. I'd love nothing more than to pull them, but I honestly don't know if the even basic Fogmen can handle fighting those guys. But if we pull them, then if they die, we get some really good early game gear. They're in the 26, 25. Yeah, there's not enough Fogmen here. We've already lost half the Fogmen here to Hungry Bandits. They die pretty easy. Not enough Fogmen here to really justify it. That's okay. It's not a big deal because eventually we'll see more groups come through. So we just got to keep our eyes open for it. Groups are always roaming past here. So it's not a huge deal. Let me take a look at this fog armor here. Where is the heavy that went down? Did he get back up? He must have gotten back up. Okay. Just regular Fogmen here that are dead. The fog heavy then got back up. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Here he is. He's in a recovery coma. So we'd probably be better off then now putting this gear on our fog heavy. At least that. This has a cut resistance efficiency of 80%. This one only has 60%, but the pants are a little bit better with a 60% cut efficiency. And that is not a better bone hammer, so we will keep our bone hammer for now. All right, nice. So back inside here, we can see all the Fogmen coming out after a glorious, I'm assuming, consuming ceremony with the fog prince behind them. There's some dead Fogmen here that just randomly walked in here and died. Ooh, who do we got over here? Another hungry bandit. All right. So something that can also happen is that all of these buildings here can be occupied by us at no cost. The reason for the no cost is because there's going to be damn near impossible for me to get cats. So I can take any of these buildings, but I still need to get the building materials and the iron plates to build them. But it allows me to have a somewhat safe location to start doing things like researching, especially researching buildings and walls and defenses for wherever we're going to put our base. And also just a place to maybe set up some beds, to refuel our characters, to store some gear, and to do a little bit of training. So it'll be pretty necessary. This place isn't completely immune to being attacked. As you can see, lots of people travel nearby. Most importantly, the Fogmen are not strong enough to really handle some of the people that come past here. So there's a very big possibility that we could still get wiped even inside these walls. In a test run, I actually had a Holy Nation group with paladins come past here and get aggroed inside, and it was unbelievably brutal. So we're not completely safe, but it's a better location than trying to just build an outpost out in the open world. So that's an option for us as well. Now, the most important things are going to be getting food and getting medical supplies, but we'll have to save that for the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to leave a like. Lets me know that you guys want to see more content similar to this. And if this is your first time at my channel, please consider subscribing. You'll get notifications when new videos drop, so that way you can keep up with this Kenshi series as it unfolds. It's definitely going to be something I think you guys are going to enjoy. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun playing it, and I'd like for you guys to be able to know when new videos drop. With that being said, thank you all for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you next time.